Four. Now we're live.
What?
Oh, I need.
Apparently, we is live.
It would help if I had a mic.
It might, just a little bit.
It's not good when I'm paying attention more than you guys are.
No, that makes perfect sense, actually.
You're distracted by other work.
This is the Upstate Pulse on 106.3 WORD. Wake up and smell the future. The heartbeat of what's trending in the upstate. What do people need is somebody that knows what's going on in the community. The world. That's going to be bigger than the internet. And the known universe. Don't know the power of the dark side. It's the Upstate Pulse on 106.3 WORD. Brought to you by Borderlands Comics and Games. You're on the air.
Welcome into the Upstate Pulse. My name is Lonzo. It is a beautiful Saturday night, and so excited to be back on the air. Got a little bit of energy about me. Last week was kind of rough. I will tell you that this sickness, it clings to you with really long claws that are painful. So I'm still a little bit got the scratchy throat, so I may cough on occasion. But we're going to power through this. We're going to have fun because that's what we do on a Saturday night. I also got to tell you that my attention is a little bit divided as my Kansas City Chiefs are finishing up a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the one TV in the entire building that doesn't work just happens to be the one in this studio. So, it's not the first time that a team I pull for has been on TV while I'm doing a show. Speaking of which, we are going to wax nostalgic. We're going to go way back. We're going to talk about some stuff that happened back when you was young. Some of you were young. All right. Some of you were like in high school, possibly, maybe when this here thing started. We are the Upstate Pulse, by the way. We talk video games. We talk streaming movies. We talk Bigfoot, Chupacabra. We talk supernatural stuff. We talk artificial intelligence. All the things that during the week when the boss ain't looking, you're like clicking on to go, ooh, I wonder what that is. Well, those are the things that we talk about here. And we have a blast doing it. I will let you know I'm doing double duty tonight because T2 is not here, because that thing that got Matthew, that thing that got me, that thing that got several people in the building got him too. He done got. And so he has been out for a couple of days, so he will not be here today. So may have to noob myself. We'll see. I expect perfection out of the person who's behind this board. And if it happens to be me that messes up, well, then I'll just have to punish myself because, that's what I do. Joining me tonight, I'm going to let him go first because he always goes last. And that would be show contributor Cameron in the house.
Hi, I'm the middle child for tonight.
Yes, you are the middle child. And the other reason why is because we know once Matthew comes on the air and just says one single word, he just puts us all to shame.
One single word.
There you go. Listen to that. It's beautiful. It really is.
Thank
so
you.
We are going to have fun tonight. On tonight's show, we're going to
Are we gonna Wang Chung?
we might Wang Chung tonight, although you shouldn't say that.
I shouldn't?
No, look up and see what Wang Chung is.
Is that a euphemism?
I'm just saying, if anybody out there knows what a Wang Chung is, which is actually a lyric in the background of the song, if you listen, the background singer near the end, can somebody tell me what a Wang Chung is? The guy sings that and left it in there. I don't know if it was written that way, but anyway, and Matthew has no idea what song we're talking about. You ever heard of the Wang Chung?
I don't think I have now.
All right, if you want to be a part of the show, text line is 71307. Text Flaccid to that. Let us know that you are out there and about. We know there are a lot of people out there because you're stuck on the road. And while on the road, why not enjoy some of the wonderful vocal stylings here on this wonderful program? We are going to we're going to pull a swerve on you as far as the bracket goes. I'll get to that in a minute because someone finally did some research. That would be me. I did some major research yesterday to find out how many brackets we've done and which ones that we have done. And by doing that, made me think about what time of year it is. So back in 2016.
By the way, I figured out what a Wang Chung is.
Okay. Is it something you can read on the air?
Yes.
Okay. What is a Wang Chung?
All right. A Wang Chung is actually the first note of the Chinese musical scale.
Okay. All right.
Wang Chung is actually the name of the band.
Yes, I know.
And they just said it means whatever you want it to mean.
Okay. Kind of like da do da da da. Sort
It's
of.
meaningless and it'll torment you.
Yes. Okay. There we go. So back in 2016, turns out that's when this here program started. We're going to go a little bit further back. So I have been on the air. This is not bragging. It's just like, the guy who's still here. That would be me. He who remains. He who remains. That would be me. So
I honestly would not want to meet any of your variants.
Yes. So I've been here 23 years now. So working on the 24th year, which is kind of cool. Not many people stay at the same job that long, but I have. And a lot of people ask me, how do you do that? How do you stay that long in one job? Well, the job around me changed. So every 2 or 3 years, it's like a bunch of new people come in and a bunch of old people leave. So it's like technically starting a new job. So I've had to do that several times. I've been on Saturday nights for 22 of the last 23 years around this time. So I missed 1 year that I didn't have a show, but started out 23 years ago. A friend of mine and we wanted to have our own sports show here on WORD. Hal Brown was the program director at the time, and what he told us to do was to put together a tape. Yes, a cassette tape. So not far back enough to have to put together a reel, but
Not that far.
not
back.
that far
We're
back.
not that old.
Yeah, we missed it by a little bit.
It wasn't on Betamax.
No, it
was
wasn't. Well, no. And it wasn't on DAT, and it wasn't on
Was it?
1/8-inch reel. It wasn't on
8-track?
It wasn't on carts, which is the equivalent of 8-track carts. Yeah, it wasn't on that, although those were around at the time. So
Just spitballing ancient tech.
yes, it is ancient tech, and I was here for it. So he said to make a tape. So we made our first tape, and he had some suggestions, including that the guy I was doing a show with and I fight over a bucket of chicken. So I was like, okay. So I redid the intro with us fighting over a bucket of chicken. We did a show, gave it to him, and then Hal Brown walked into the studio laughing so hard he had tears in his eyes and said, okay, you guys got your show. So we went through the tryout process. We got it, but what we had to do is we had to do a Gamecock show. Now, I was already anti-Clemson because they threatened to throw my baby daughter off the side of the stadium because I didn't stand up and do that CLEMP whatever cheer. So I'm like,
I
okay.
see what you did there.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm okay. All right, we can do a Gamecock show. And I kind of like the Gamecocks. And so along with one other guy, we started doing that show. And I will tell you that one of us didn't make it through the entire season. So by the end of the season, there was only 2 of us left. After that season was over, that first season, there was only me left. So, I mean, that's how it works.
It's how it is. It's just how it goes sometimes.
Yes, it is. So
That's how it be.
So Tiny Tim, Pork Chop, and Biscuit were no more after that. Because the one thing that Hal Brown said is you can't use your own name. It's like, okay, we want to do a show. I'll do whatever.
I forget, which one were you?
I was Pork Chop.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
you were Pork
The
Chop.
guy who's Biscuit says he was Pork Chop, but he was not. I was Pork Chop. I've got video evidence. Anyway, so because I'd rather be meat than fluffy. But that's just how my brain thinks. I don't know about you guys. I mean,
My brain can do a lot with that sentence, but go on.
Exactly. So anyway, so the next season rolls around, brand new program director, Peter Thiel. It just makes my mouth feel funny even saying that name, for a lot of reasons. So Peter Thiel was the next program director, and I said, my guys are gone. Do I still have a show? And he said, yeah, pick somebody. So I did. So I picked the guy, had him for a couple seasons or 1 season, maybe 2 seasons. And then he left. So there we are again. There's me by myself again. And then they decided to pair me with a professional from the area. I'm not going to say his name. it didn't go so well because halfway through that season, whilst I was embarrassed live somewhere, I went and told Peter Thiels, like, this guy said I sucked in front of an entire establishment. I don't want to be on the air anymore. And first thing he said is, you do suck. I'm like, okay, if I'm so bad, take me off the air. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, you're getting better. So we kind of had an adversarial relationship, and he enjoyed seeing me suffer because he was like 4'2", probably still is, Napoleon syndrome, short man, that type of thing.
I feel like the tall, just like it stretches out the evil.
Well, he would call me to his office and yell up at me, but to the point where people in the building would apologize to me because they had to they heard it. And, but then soon he was gone. And along came a guy that you guys know pretty well. That would be Mr. Bob McClain. And I asked Bob, could I have another show? And he said, yes. Didn't have to do anything. He's like, do it. And then I said, I have an idea. There's this intern who really gets on my nerves. I want to change the direction of the show. I want to make it Gamecocks versus Clemson. And he's like, do whatever you want. And so I got that intern a job here. Later on, that intern ended up being a sales guy. That intern has a name, and it's hard to say that name. It's Matthew Tomlinson. Yeah, that's it. It's that guy. And so I ended up doing a show with him for 14 years. So that worked out okay. But we were nearing the run of a sports show here on WORD because what was then ESPN Upstate and is now the Fan Upstate had just come about, and I got to be on the ground floor for that station, and we turned WORD away from sports and decided to go with just straight up news talk. So then we got this meeting with the new person in charge. We'll call him LexCorp. And he told me and Chris that we were doing a show. And the show, which is the Upstate Pulse, was only supposed to be on during the summer when the scoreboard wasn't on. But unfortunately for me, this show did so well it canceled the other one. That's just how it works. So
It's just that good.
My new show canceled my old show, and it's bittersweet.
It sucks when you beat you.
Yes, it is. It is. By the way, I see your messages. Chris says scoreboard. Yeah. And Steven said that was before their internet thing. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Steven also said that one person's ruined you and turned you into a Gamecock. Not all of us are that way. No, it was multiples. I mean, it was
a group.
It was a group of people.
I was there.
Yeah. And also
threatened. I was also part of the threatened group to be thrown off.
Hey, Mark, by the way. Also, I spent a lot of time as a producer on the show with the original guy who did the Tiger Tailgate show, Russ Castle. And if I were against Clemson before, I was against Clemson 3,000 times after working with him because he made it a thing between he and I. Every weekend after a college game, if the Gamecocks lost and Clemson won, I would have to go on the air with him. But it's all right. You hone what you do, you get better at it. And you know how you get better? By going against the master. And eventually I started winning some. And even though it angered him, it also made him proud. So there you go. So the Upstate Pulse started out, and we were told we had to do it. We were a little reluctant because I liked having my summers off. And then you think you're better? You think you're better? You think you think the 2.0?
I got that slide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was pretty funny though. That's old school because
The other thing is I didn't want to interrupt you.
Matt Tomlinson called Cameron the upgrade, which he thought was hilarious.
That's good. I like it.
It was pretty funny. But yeah.
I'm the young Acuta model.
Yeah. His name is also Alonzo Sue. So that
fit.
works. Yeah. So Chris Evans and I got together. I wrote up this big long thing of what we wanted to do, and we both snickered and laughed and said, "There's no way they're going to let us do this." We might have chortled a little bit. Chris is more of a chortler. I kind of guffaw. Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
no, I feel like Chris guffaws.
no, you're right.
Guffaw is a lot more
Actually,
boisterous.
you're right. You're right. Guffaws have power to them. Chris guffaws like no one's business.
Chris has that Titus Final Fantasy X laugh.
Go, yes, it is loud enough.
Yes.
No,
I'm sorry,
no,
audience. I just
no.
needed to show.
It is loud enough that you can't hear out of your ear for 2 days. If you go somewhere like
Remember
say
the-
to Deadpool 2,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't. To the point where now, if we go somewhere with Chris, we fight over who's sitting next to him. Because if it's something funny, he's going to be so loud it's going to hurt. But that's fine. He enjoys everything he does with the fullest zeal. I'm going to go with zeal. That's
Zeal
what
is
he
a
does.
good word for that.
So we laughed about it. We sent it down to LexCorp, and LexCorp said, okay. And then it was like, okay, we got to do a show. Can we do this? And we did. And here is what that sounded like. All right, everybody. Welcome into the Upstate Pulse. Yes, if you hear that familiar voice, it is Lonzo. Looking forward to the start of a brand new program. Usually off this time of year, but we were approached by management. And here's the reason why. A lot of you have spoken out and said, you know what? I would love to hear what Lonzo says about things and what Chris says about things. And
we want more of them.
yeah,
That's really what.
And here's the thing, we're not surprised.
No,
We're
it's
not
quite
surprised.
it's not shocking at all to us.
Yes, that other voice you're hearing is Chris.
You might almost say it was obvious.
Yes, you almost would say that. The other voice you're hearing is Chris Evans, who is the producer for the Terra Show, which can be heard Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So there you go. That was the very first paragraph or so that was uttered on the Upstate Pulse. And as you can tell, we haven't improved after 7 years working on our 8th year. We're going to take a break when we come back. Wax a little more nostalgic just because it's fun. And we got a lot of other stuff to get to. If you have any memories of the show, your favorite things that we have done, or things that you went, oh my God, please don't ever do that again.
Elf snot.
Text us at, that was a great one. Text us at 71307 or hit us up on Facebook. We're live on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and probably something else up there. Oh, yeah, Facebook. Listen to the Upstate Pulse right here. 106.3 WRD.
By the way, thank you, Christopher, for bringing that up. I completely forgot about that.
Lisa, quit shouting people out on the stream. What are you doing?
Have some decorum.
Leave your mom alone. Only I get to call her out.
Why not?
And Steven, no, the TV isn't working. It's pixelated. I have no idea what's going on. I've got the Gamecast on my
It's
phone.
like a jigsaw.
Yeah,
puzzle.
it's just, it's fine. It's not. I'm recording it so I can watch the
It's
last
almost like
bit
an
of the fourth
abstract
quarter.
painting.
I don't know how far behind the Gamecast is, but it says Chiefs 27-17 with 2 minutes left in the game. So
You should be good.
So I think we're good. The scary part is not scary, but if Buffalo were to win tomorrow, that means the AFC Championship game is in Atlanta, and we're gonna try to go. After I go out and buy a compression shirt. If you don't know what that's all about, you should watch the Rob Brown show.
Oh God,
We ain't doing that here.
it's a very unique problem you
Yes.
face.
Yes, it is.
I have the opposite problem.
I'd be okay with that.
I don't know though.
All right,
It's-
let's not go there.
okay.
Yeah, I did see that, Chris. I saw him get hurt. I've watched a good portion of the game. I missed because the cable in my office actually works. But I had to come in here at 5 till, which still meant like 12 minutes left in the game. So, but that's fine. Again, I've had to be on the air a ton when my football team is playing. That's just part of it. Wow, someone has Someone is really talking about the bracket, and I'm getting ready to change it on them. I feel bad about it, but I got to. I don't know. At what point do you reboot? Do you say, okay, we did this 5 years ago, we can do this again? I don't know at what point.
Well, to be
you
fair,
do that.
the cartoons were 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So
it was in 2021. So yeah.
I wasn't necessarily going to bring this up. So we did start in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we did.
I can only just take possession of like in like 2020, right?
By the way, Steven, if they were, that's fine. Because, show prep for everybody is what I do. It was also on the Rise Guys. All right, so I got to noob myself.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I got to noob myself. That's fine. That's fine. I know why I did it. It doesn't give me an excuse. You see that? It's black. So it doesn't look like a commercial.
Oh.
And it throws you off. They changed the color scheme. It's fine. I hope Tim's listening.
Today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone.
Oopsie. Oopsie.
I always, when I was younger, used to thought the Mortal Kombat whoopsie or toasty was whoopsie.
Same.
Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. I thought I would go the entire thing whilst doing everything and not make a mistake. I was wrong. I messed up.
The plate fell.
I messed up. And so now I am going to do something that no other host would do in this building. I am going to noob myself. There we go. There we go. I have noobed myself because I made a mistake. Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. Talking a little bit about the beginnings of the show. So lots of cool things happen on the show. Before we move on, though, we're getting some texts about the bracket, and I have to do something. I have to cancel what I said last week. So we're doing a swerve. We're doing an about face, change of direction. I don't know, however you want to do it, but Cameron had brought to my attention something about some of the brackets that we have done. Also, something happened on last week's show. Tim mentioned cow and chicken, and cow and chicken made me think of Charlie James. And when I think of Charlie James, the first time that Charlie James participated in anything, he texted the show and mentioned cow and chicken. And why did he do that? Because we were doing a cartoon bracket. And I don't know how soon you can do this again. I don't want to be repetitive. I know we do it once a year, but we actually did a cartoon bracket 2 years ago. And
I was going to say, if Charlie commented on it, it
right.
must have been fairly recent.
It was in 2021. If I recall, I think Batman the Animated Series won.
I can understand that.
yeah.
That's a well-deserved
yeah.
one.
So I started to try to figure out what brackets we have done. And now that we've went to Google Drive, now I will have it saved in my Google Drive because I embrace technology. Yes.
You're a man of the cloud.
Even as an elderly man, something like that.
Elderman?
Elderman. I'm an elderman.
You are an elderman.
No, is an elderman like a deacon? I don't know. So anyway, I went back and searched through Facebook and found every mention of the brackets to find out what we had done over the years, because I decided, you know what, we're going to do an action bracket. And then started thinking about it. Didn't we already do one of those?
Well, because you mentioned that, and like in my head, I just heard action bracket.
Yeah, which
What,
means
what is an action bracket?
action movies.
Oh, okay.
You know, like Matrix or
Yeah, I got
Fast and the Furious, stuff like that. So we had already done that. I don't remember who won, but we did do that.
I don't remember who won either.
All right, so I went back in time, as we're doing on this program today, 2016 when we first started this show. That's how I know that we're close to somewhere around our anniversary, because we started right around this time in 2016. Our very first bracket was for superheroes in 2016. 2017 was our sci-fi bracket, and I believe Empire Strikes Back won that.
Yeah.
I don't remember who won superhero. I think it was probably Avengers.
No, I think Dark Knight won that.
Was it Dark Knight? It could have been. But again, it was 2016.
Sci-fi was the They Live thing where
Yes.
They Live beat the Matrix.
Yes. 2018 we did horror. Don't remember who won that. I could go back and find out, but I don't remember. 2019 we did action. 2020 we did sitcoms. 2021 we did cartoons, and last year we did villains. So I have it narrowed down to two things. I've done that before, but I haven't narrowed down to two things again. So now we've got to decide which one we're going to do. Okay. And so while coming up with this, I got to think about which is more important, the people in the room or the people listening. And I got to go with the people listening because of participation for ties and things like that. And because our demographic, I believe, is somewhere between 16 and 93. I don't know
like
why.
that one Christmas song.
Yeah, I don't know why I went with 93, but 93 works.
94-year-olds, you're
It's
out.
all encompassing.
Yeah, if you're 94, you're probably all you care about is pudding. But yeah, so 16 to
tapioca.
93, are they real lumps or are they bugs? I don't know at this point.
Either way, it's protein.
Crunch is good. Okay, so I'm thinking of the audience, and that's why I may lean towards one way and not the other, even though tag on it. Jacksonville scored again. It's 27-20. So it's either going to be Disney movies or it's going to be video games. That's it. That's a good one there, Chris. Chris says sidekicks, and that is a possibility in the future. And there are definitely enough sidekicks in both Marvel and DC to come up with them. But Nightwing will win. Or Robin would win.
Probably.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot. Name another sidekick.
I don't know.
I mean,
like
Wonder
I
Girl.
could think
Wonder
of like Red
there's one
Arrow
Wonder
or
Girl,
Miss
or
Martian,
Flash or Miss
Speedy,
Martian, but
yeah.
that's like specifically because of Young Justice.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that. Those are the ones that I know.
By
of.
the way, I caught up and watched all of season 3. And
All
I'm
right,
currently
all right.
watching season 4 right
Don't spoil. I'll get to it. Mark says heroes. See the thing, we did superheroes. So I mean, so coming up with things. So it's either going to be video games or Disney movies. I looked up Disney movies because Disney's been around a while. There's over 800 and something Disney movies. Now, if we went Disney movies, we'd eliminate Marvel and we'd eliminate Star Wars.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would just be straight up Disney. And then you got to decide if you're doing Disney.
I would take out Pixar. Honestly, I think Pixar would be kind of its own thing to a degree.
Would we just go old time Disney?
Well, the thing is, do we just go Disney animated? The other option is video games. Now, if we went video games, the brackets are pretty much figured out. I mean, you've got Nintendo in one section, you've got Xbox, you've got PlayStation, and then the other one would be a combination
You could do indie stuff.
of everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, because it could also be Sega, computer stuff, things like that.
I mean, are you
But how
going
would you
more-
organize that for like third parties that develop for multiple platforms? Like FromSoft develops for Xbox and PlayStation stuff.
I think probably maybe exclusives.
Or what-
I don't know.
PC, that could be the fourth one.
Right.
Specifically focused on PC.
But then you've got to have a place for Sega and some places like that. I mean, I know those games like Sonic have moved over to other systems, but originally that was just a
Yeah.
Sega game.
I think it'd be best to just not organize them in that way because there's so many different developers that you'd want to try and focus on and include and
Which
just
is-
kind of
I agree with
randomize.
Matthew.
Which is
Yeah.
why I'll probably do it because it will make everyone angry. And that's the whole point of
That is the whole
thing.
point of the bracket.
No. If everyone is angry, you know what you got? You got equality. That's what you have. If everyone is mad, it's pretty equal,
That's
isn't
not a
it?
good kind of equality.
It's still equality.
I think that's a pretty bad kind of equality.
I don't care if it's good or bad as long as
Here's
it's
the thing.
entertaining.
The question is it unified anger against one thing or is it chaotic anger at everything?
I think it's
Different anger
unified
and
anger at Lonzo for making us angry.
That's fine.
intentionally.
That's
It only
fine.
just gives him power, people.
That's true.
I think we all know.
He's a Red Lantern.
I need some psychological help and hate is love. All right, so we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we get to a bunch of other stuff, including we'll continue with this. So what do you guys think? Disney movies or video games? It doesn't, I mean, I knew how it was gonna be in here. I knew exactly how it was gonna be in here. So, but I'm curious. Text line 71307 or hit us up on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube and let us know what you think. Listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD.
Honestly, with video games, I think it would be better to like take a broad genre and focus on that.
All right, I will tell you, here's what I do normally. For movies, for anything that requires money to buy, I go by how much money a game made. So you may have your most favorite game of all time, but there may have been only 35 people to buy it. So it probably doesn't make the list.
Oh yeah.
So it comes down to me, commerce equals popularity. So if it made a lot of money, chances are people bought it. And so that makes it, I mean, so you're going to get some, but you also will do franchises like Diablo or Elder Scrolls.
I agree, Mark.
Or something like that. And it would be the entire thing, not just one,
Okay, if
Get
we are going by
specific game.
franchises, that'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the end, it may just be 64 franchises. I don't know if there are that many out there, but there probably are. I know there's
is
quite a
decent
bit.
amount.
I know I could think of at least a dozen or two.
I was just talking about Bethesda basically.
Because I mean, Elder Scrolls is its own franchise.
Right.
Fallout is. You've got
I almost feel like Fallout needs to be specifically separated between the 3D and 2D and the isometric.
See, that's the thing. When you
Well,
do
the
that,
thing is
then you
how
take
many
up a
people-
spot that something else could have. And that's why I go with franchise. So if I say Fallout, you think of your favorite one. You don't have to be thinking of 3 or 4. It might be New Vegas. But if that's your favorite, then you vote for Fallout.
the bracket has a lot more area of effect.
Same thing if you go with
Yeah.
Far Cry. Far Cry, almost every game is in a different place in the world. So I mean, they're only linked by people like Herc, and some of the recurring
the
characters.
glue of the Far Cry universe, Herc. I miss that guy. I'm so sad that he got nuked.
He was awesome in space. He was good in Vietnam. Was he in Vietnam? No,
No, he wasn't.
he wasn't in Vietnam.
There was
There's
a lot
also-
of bamboo in Vietnam.
Yes, there was. There's also the other guy.
Check out Dragon Pudding, by the way.
Yeah.
We did a couple Far
All
Cry.
right, Chris thinks it should be by decade. See, I don't know.
That's also a good way to go about it, but maybe we do it by both, like franchises by decade.
All right, I'm getting more votes for video games than I am Disney. So that may have something to do with
I think-
politics, or it may just
Yeah.
or it may just be and see, that's my thing. I didn't know how much I know we're on Twitch and some other things that are more video game centric, so I think it kind of makes sense to go video.
We're leaving it to you, the people.
We are kind of leaving it up to you, the people.
I need a cup to be able to do that voice properly.
All right, let's see if I'm good. All right, coming back with a little Leroy Jenkins. Just happened to go that way because, synergy or something. Whatever word works. But it's as if the heavens have opened up and said, "Thou shalt go with video games." And the text line and stream are all saying video games too. So I guess video games it is. So now it's going to be a matter of how can I segregate things in a way that makes everybody equally angry. So I will work on that. And I've got a knack with it. Some would say a talent.
So what you're saying is you have a tendency to rabble rouse, to rouse the rabble.
Yes, I do rouse the rabble every chance I get. It's good for the blood pressure. Mine anyway.
Does it make it go down since it's opposite?
Well,
or-
yes, because a master troll is just he enjoys the chaos all around him as he is a place of peace. So that's how that works. So anyway, we're going to
Does
go
that make you the eye of the storm?
possibly. Yeah, around here sometimes for sure. But can you be the eye of the, if you're the eye of the storm, but you started the storm? Technically, did the eye of the storm start? No, the eye forms. So I'd be more like the storm starter than the eye of the storm. But I start the storm and then jump in the middle and watch everything around me. So maybe I'm both.
Your weather wizard.
There's a duality to my nature. And I enjoy it. All right, so we're gonna go with video games. Now,
Paradoxical, if you would.
the last time with heroes are with villains was the first time I've ever actually separated things. Usually I just throw everything in there. So there is a chance that I do that again, as Matthew suggests, as some other people. Some people are going with franchises. It will be franchises for certain games. It just will. Diablo, Far Cry, Fallout, Final Fantasy. It's going to drive Final Fantasy is going to drive a lot of people. You can't do just one Final Fantasy game. I'm not. I'm doing them all. They're all in one slot.
Does
So-
that also include the
God.
MMO?
Yes, all. Everything that has the Final Fantasy name on it. What is that?
Dissidia.
Dissidia. Yeah, that's it. Which is a Final Fantasy game.
Somewhere on Apocalypse, you heard a sneeze.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
It's a very niche joke.
It's not really, not for this audience. So we're gonna go with video games. And I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna go first with sales, because I think sales are very important. I really do. I'm not joking about it. I think sales do denote popularity. I think if something sells a lot, that means people bought it. Whether they bought it for a friend and the friend didn't like the game, they still bought it.
I can't wait for Call of Duty to get added in, only to be voted out in round 1 because Tim is going to be so mad.
Yes, he will.
He is.
And by the way, so also what I do is you got to get your number one seeds. My number one seeds are almost always the ones that make the most money. So you're gonna get your number one seeds.
Well, if we want to go by seeding for that, Pokemon would probably be seed 1.
Probably in one of the things. Now, if we go with Nintendo, of course it's going to be. If I go Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, which I'm still not saying I'm not.
I think it's better to mix it up a bit.
It would be, but if you do
What
it
he's
this
saying
way,
is that's too efficient.
but
Let's
if you do it this
way.
way, you're guaranteed in your Final Four to have one Xbox game, one PlayStation game, and one Nintendo.
Well,
game.
that's why you just you finagle the seeding so that it still happens most likely, but everybody can't tell.
I would never do such a thing. I'm not clever enough for that. So anyway, we'll start working on that, and near the end of in a couple weeks, we'll start it. So because I like to get done by the end of March into April. Last year we got done at the beginning or during rather South Carolina Comic-Con. By the way, South Carolina Comic-Con put on by our sponsor, Borderland Comics and Games, which you should go check out the new store. It's awesome on Pleasantburg and 410, I believe. And Comic-Con is April 15th and 16th. They're announcing guests often, like every day they're announcing guests, including, and I don't have her name in front of me, I should have wrote it down, the actress who plays the armorer for Mandalorian is going to be here.
Yeah, she was the armor, and she was also Darkness in Supernatural.
There we go. Yeah. I kept looking at her. I was like, man, she looks familiar. And that's why. So she's going to be doing that. Or we've been talking about how this show has actually been around 7 years. We're now starting our 8th year. There are people who cannot believe that, and there are people who celebrate it. I don't know which there's more of. Might be a balance, might be like an in-between thing. But I'm glad I'm still here. I really am. And during COVID was rough because before that, we had the Saturday purge when we lost everybody. We lost all our Saturday programming. We were one of the only shows, if not the only show, that made it through that. And part of it was because Chris and I were on salary. So they didn't really have to pay for the show because it was, you're not doing it for free, but still kind of. So then Patrick moved on and Chris got promoted and no one was allowed in the building. And then thankfully, Cameron was able to save me, which again, I appreciate to no end. And for a little bit, it was just me and him, including one of the coolest things that we've ever done on this show was we got to interview Chris Rager and Josh Martin, who are Majin Buu and Hercule.
It was definitely a highlight.
Among a bunch of other voice work that they do. We got to do that. When you can make big time voice actors laugh, it's a
notch in the belt.
Yeah, it is. But it helps to ease the tension because then you're like, okay, I thought that was going to work. It actually worked. I got them to laugh.
I'll be honest, they didn't make it that hard though.
No, they didn't.
As far as the tension goes, because the funniest thing to me during that entire thing was Chris was moving around his entire house.
Yeah, he was showing off
different spots, showing how much Hercule merch he has.
Yes, it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
He also drank and smoked and did all kinds of other stuff while he was on the screen the entire time. And I was a nervous wreck because I had never done an interview without Chris Evans.
And
ever.
I'm just sitting there just going, just gonna stay in my lane.
Well, I was hoping he wouldn't go too far because there's we've had that happen before as far as guests go on the history of this program. There's been one guest in particular who played a horror film star that I had to hang up on because he dropped 3 F-bombs. And
that's a no-no.
And
Yep.
I got to see Chris Evans go full Muppet. You don't want to see Chris Evans go full Muppet. When I say that, he gets a smile on his face and he opens his mouth. His mouth just stays open and he tilts his head a certain way because he's so fascinated by the situation. He's not going to help. He's
just going to observe.
He's absolutely not.
Breaks.
He's not. He's not going to help. He's going to watch and see how you handle the situation. He said over where Matthew's sitting right now, had that look on his face, just watching me the entire time, just trying to see what I was going to do. And after dumping them the 3rd time, I finally let them go. Because, I usually have a shorter leash than that, but they were a sponsor at the time, got them on the show, and I wanted to be as nice as possible, but I finally had to let them go. So that was kind of the worst guest. We just mentioned Rager Rager and Josh Martin. My other favorite guests ever on the show was David Naughton. David Naughton was on a show called Making It that me and my sister loved. It was during the disco era. He sang his opening, but he was also the star of American Werewolf in London. And to sit back and go, I'm interviewing the star of American Werewolf in London. I cannot believe that I'm doing this. One of the best, if not the best werewolf movies of all time. And he was so cool. He really was. And I brought up some other stuff that other people wouldn't bring up, like Hot Dog the movie and some things like that. And then I got to go meet him. And he thanked me for actually being a fan, not pretending to be a fan, but actually being a fan, because I absolutely was. And you get told by all these people who have been through training, radio training, which I've just learned from being on the job, how you don't fanboy. Forget that, man. That's what this show's all about, is fanboying.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I'm never going to act like, welcome to my show, you should be privileged to be here. No, it's awesome when we get someone on. And
if anything, just talk to a person like a person, and that's a much better conversation anyway.
There are always questions that I can come up with that I don't think that they've been asked before, because
you don't reside in the box.
I don't. And usually it catches them off guard, and usually the interview goes a lot better afterwards. And it was just so much fun. My other favorite was Warrington Gillette.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Warrington Gillette, who played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2, which was my favorite Friday the 13th of all time. And I've got a signed machete. And when we went to get the machete, when we took a picture, there was this big long line. I went from being happy fanboy to being me when I turned around and everyone in the place cracked up laughing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. All right, you listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. That was a short bet. I gotta get rid of that.
So should we play some LRB for the first hour?
We're actually going to get to some other stuff, by the way.
I'm not cracking. I just thought about that. It's like that's a good line in my head.
Let's see. Chris says, go Cam. Yeah, he's all right. Let's see. Trey says, my grandpa played all the Final Fantasy games back in the day on NES and SNES. Let's see. Grandma, rather. I introduced her and her twin sister to the N64 Rumble Pack controller attachment. My great aunt was a Christian lady, but she cursed when it vibrated in her hands. She thought she was being shocked. My grandma was still playing Crash Bandicoot in her later years. Yeah, that's the thing. I think people still think that the video games are, you grow out of them.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
And you don't.
No, that's not a thing.
Because the thing is that video games help you with hand-eye coordination. They also help you with puzzle solving, which keeps your brain working. They also help you with anger management, or help you find out that you don't have anger management. I mean, there's
I
so
think
many.
you realize that you have
Yes.
a problem.
There's so many. But the other thing is,
FromSoft, very good for that.
as someone who's in a lot of pain that I don't talk about, the one thing I can do is play a video game and forget about the pain for a while, especially if it's so immersive that you feel like you're in the game. And that's going to help me when I'm in the home somewhere and have no idea who any of you people are.
You're not going into a home. You'll be fine. You'll keep your cognizance.
Dude, I plan on winning me some shuffleboard tournaments.
You could visit a home.
I plan on being the bingo champion.
First of all, I want you to be as aware as possible because I don't want to have to pay for a nursing home.
You can afford it.
No, I can't.
No, I need to go. No, I need to
Maybe
go to
later in life, Cam.
I need to go to a retirement home, not a fancy rich retirement home. My retirement home will be where I live now in the woods.
Yes.
And someday they'll come home and I just won't be there.
I was going to say that.
Like an elephant, I will wander off into, somewhere. I don't know. I apologize for the morbidity. I blame Cameron for it.
I'd have to. Why me?
Because you're sitting right there. I'm not going to blame Matthew. He didn't say anything.
Good point. That is Lonzo 3.0's problem. Whenever he comes along. How did you do it again?
Same thing. And I should have went back and checked, and I didn't.
You hate to see it.
You keep talking about how you're getting old, like forgetting stuff, and now you're making me worried. I don't have nursing home money. Just keep at it for like 10 more years,
All right.
please.
Hour number 2, I did not make that mistake. So I just went through and checked. So if one pops in there, it wasn't me. I think maybe engineering's messing with me. They see me.
It's just Chris.
It could very well be Chris. He could
I
do that.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, he has the capabilities to do that. All right, I made the same mistake twice. What can I say? I don't know what you want from me, Matthew. I hope you're happy.
I'm very happy.
Now, I could noob you for not turning your mic on and starting to talk, but I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because I'm nice. I'm kind.
Yeah.
Not to myself though. You know, it has nothing to do with me talking about getting old and forgetting. It has to do with the stinking color scheme when you're used to things being a certain
I
way.
feel like it's on topic though.
Possibly.
But the other thing is this a work? Are you just trying to lean into it?
No, I'm pretty ticked at myself right now. I will be mad at myself the rest of the evening, but I will not affect the show.
I
Like
gave
like
you,
you
a
could
rope and you
tell.
were honorable. Bless you.
So we're going with video games. We're absolutely going with video games because you the people have requested it, and that's what we're going to do. All right, hour number 2, we're going to review the latest episode of Bad Batch. Also, Vox Machina season 2 is out, and they dropped 3 episodes. We watched all 3. So I think we'll talk about those without spoiling. Bad Batch came out Wednesday, but Vox Machina came out yesterday. I don't want to spoil about that. Got a story about Netflix. We got a wonderful oops. It's you're gonna love it. We're also gonna talk some video games and Nerd Roundtable. We got some Jason Momoa news, and we're gonna talk about lights and ketchup and James Gunn. I know it's a great combination, isn't it? Lights, ketchup, and James Gunn. Also,
I'm worried.
Check out the Upstate Pulse Facebook page. I linked to Sertron the Great is up for album of the year in this area, in the Greenville area. So go on, check out the link, and vote for Tron, because Tron is an awesome dude.
That is actually awesome to hear that he's on there.
Yeah, and his music is great. His new album is out. It's up for album of the year locally. Go on and vote for Tron, because again, you know, if he was cool but his music was horrible, I would kind of get it. But his music is good, man.
Yes, yes, it is.
It really is. Tron does a great job, and it's so cool that he's up for that. And so if you can vote for him, vote for him. And from what I understand, you can vote once a day. So vote once a day. You got like I think it's like 19 days left to vote, and that would be awesome if he were to win that award. Let's see. Let's look at the text line. Text line 71307. Go back a little bit. A texter writes, Lonzo, I remember when you were producer for Russ and Lisa. Good times. Yes. I started out producing for the Ralph Bristol show. Made it for about a year. And then I moved to middays when middays were not automated. And then I moved from there to the morning. It was one of those things where I was filling in for vacation for the guy who normally did the morning. And I got a phone call and said, by the way, you're doing this job going forward. Like, oh, okay. And so then I was in the morning for 14 years after that, or something like that. It was over a decade, and still here, still having fun, still making the same stinking mistakes I made 23 years ago. But you know what? I'd like to see you come in here and do all this at the same time. So there. That's what I'm going with. And you know what? You don't have to do, although you may, in your job, you may have that one guy that just judges you with a smile. That's what Matthew's doing to me right now. He is judging me with a smile. And you know, the worst kind of judging is someone judging you with a smile.
Someone that says "bless your heart" with their face.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, I'd rather have someone just shaking their head and look at me angrily than just smiling like,
Well, Chris isn't here.
way to go, idiot. Yeah, that is what Chris does. But you know, that's fine. Hour number 2 coming up. Like I said, got a ton of stuff to get to, including we're going to start out with oops, because we got to start out with something fun. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD, continuing live on the Upstate Pulse Facebook page, the 106.3 Facebook page, my personal page, Lonzo on Word, on Upstate Pulse on Twitter, 106.3 on Twitter, and Upstate Pulse on Twitch.
I like how you said 106.3 on Twitter twice.
That was directed at
We
you.
need a list. We need a list breakdown for you.
What?
Just so you have everything in front of you. I know it's a running. I know what you're doing at this point. You're
It's a
throwing
running gag.
Yeah, he's just throwing it.
listing them all.
Yeah. Is there so
Well,
many?
I hadn't done it yet, so
Yeah.
and I had 20 seconds to kill, so I had to attempt it. This is the most energy that, well, other than yesterday during a certain segment, that I've attempted because of the coffee.
Also, Christopher. No, he's not. Don't you joke about that. Or there's a cyborg or a clone or something out there.
Unless you consider Silver 3.0.
She's not Alonzo, though.
She might as well be.
Yeah.
You've seen how she acts.
Smart, angry, clever.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the clever. That's the clever part. That's the thing.
Also incredibly helpful.
Of course she is.
Not like, well, like kids will say that they want to help and they just kind of get in the way. No, she legitimately helps.
Because she's awesome. That's why.
Yeah. I was doting on my niece.
I'm just doty.
No, you're not. You're not in Critical Role.
Maybe I was talking about Luke Doty.
I don't even know who that is.
I know. He's the backup quarterback for South Carolina Gamecocks. Gee, you wonder what's going on in the other football game? I don't know, because all I got's pixels.
All we have are some rectangles. Some really weird off-color rectangles. I bet that would go for
Well, actually, I don't think it starts till 8:30, so it's good. So I'll be listening to Clyde Lewis on the way home, but it doesn't matter since you drove separately.
Yeah.
Aren't you all happy about that? I don't have to deal with it.
I don't have to have nightmares tonight. Yay. Or so I think.
I'll find a way to pipe Clyde Lewis into your house while you're asleep.
Don't you dare.
What could I hijack?
That is the question.
That would be kind of messed up, though. I could do the real genius.
Don't you do that to me.
That would require
That would take
dental
too
work.
long to clean out.
That would require the dental work. How they put a receiver in his braces and pretended to be God. Speaking of pretending to be God, I have like 2 episodes left in Warrior Nun. It's very interesting.
I was really wondering where you were going with that. How much would it cost to pull the Real Genius prank? How much popcorn do you think they actually put in there?
To what? I was reading the text. I'm sorry.
I was trying to estimate how much popcorn that would. I mean,
you can look it up. They say how much. That's a good movie to watch when you don't feel well. But at the same time, then you think about Val Kilmer and how he's unable to talk now. But that was back when he was the smart aleck
in his prime.
Yes, in his prime.
Yeah.
A lot of times things get worse when you get older, but
yes, they do. Absolutely. Sometimes they get better when you get older. What I'm doing right now, even with you guys in the room, would have scared me to death 20 years ago. I would have said, there's no way.
What, doing the streaming?
No, not streaming. Streaming is fine. No, leading a show. I've always surrounded myself with talkers to the degree where I could say one word and they'll go for 10 minutes. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I did need that.
I mean, you've done nothing but grow. I'm not giving you empty praise.
Hey man, I'm trying to lose weight again.
Also, Chris is looking for a recommendation for another good multiplayer game. I don't know. ESO has a lot of stuff in it. So if you guys got done with that,
Yeah, I'm not the dude to ask that because I'm not into multiplayer. Matthew's only on one system, Nintendo.
I
Right.
play on PC.
Is a PC a system? No.
yes.
Do you consider it a
It-
system?
It's a $2,000 system, so
Okay,
yes.
it's, well, you know,
It's a system that lets me play Xbox and PlayStation stuff without having to buy either, and also allowing me to do tons of other things. I'm
Trey?
PC Master Race. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
don't,
Trey, are we spooking you?
yeah, don't, no, clenching your fist like,
Oh, like yeah, and not
or
like
maybe he's just upset that he has to get out of the car.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? That's what the app is for. We're live on the app.
I
so
just
you can
automatically assume
see
clinch
it
fists
quickly.
are for fighting.
or maybe he's looking over his shoulder.
I don't know what you are, tiny goblin.
Welcome into hour number 2 of the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo, Matthew, and Cameron here on a beautiful Saturday night, having a blast. We spent a lot of hour number 1 reminiscing about, well, I did because I was here for the whole thing.
Saturday night, it was late and I was walking.
Yeah, Cameron just wants to go Little River Band. And
It's just in my head today.
I'm guessing Matthew has no idea who the Little River Band is.
Not off the top of my head, no.
That's fine. He just quoted one of their most famous songs and you didn't get it. So more proof that you have no idea who they are. But that's fine. That's fine. They were late 70s, early 80s band, but they've been used in a lot of things.
Asking me about bands and music is generally going to come up with a who is that? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we all are into what we're into, and some of us are not into music. Let's go to the text line. By the way, you can text us at 71307. You can also message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Texter says, "Hey guys, love the Pulse. I'm enjoying hearing about your path to where you are now. I'm wondering if you could give us a basic description of what the producer of a radio show does. It kind of seems like the producer is the glue that holds it all together. Thanks." I would tell you this, that the producer is the most important person in the entire building. Without a producer, there would be no show. There would be no reminders of hosts. Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. Because the producer is a minder, a herder sometimes. When because sometimes a host will just wander off into the hallway, and you got to go out like a sheepdog and get them back into the room, so they know that it's time to speak again. And sometimes you got to turn the mic on for them and turn the mic off. No,
I was about to say that really would have benefited from like some rising music behind you.
I will tell you,
as you start talking it up.
The best thing, one thing I learned from someone a long time ago is you can tell the truth with a smile and people can't tell if you're joking or not. So take that however you want. So a producer is different depending on what show they're on. And in my case, I'm executive producer, which means I'm the boss of all the other producers, or as I like to call it, king of peons. The producer gets no respect. The producer is basically the bagger at the grocery store.
Or the offensive lineman.
Yeah, or the offensive lineman. Actually, offensive linemen get more credit than a producer does.
Huh.
So I mean, there's a hierarchy in radio. There's a hierarchy anywhere you work. The hierarchy is management, of course, but you put management aside, then there's what's called talent, and then there's the rest of us. So I mean, and that's how that works. And the old adage, "the talent is always right," is not true, but it still is used. No, a good producer with a great host can make that host even better by helping them do all the little things, but also by adding things as far as helping them with story gathering, helping them just by having someone to bounce things off of on the air and off the air. And one of the more difficult things is having chemistry with people. And around here, most producers spend at least a little time on the air. Over on the Fan Upstate, the producer is a co-host. So you also got to do a lot of what I'm doing now, which is running the board and a bunch of other things, and also talk at the same time and answer the phones and do stuff on social media. It's a lot of multitasking. It really is. And it has evolved and it has it's grown for me in certain areas because once I became executive producer, then I also have to worry about scheduling, and I'm also the last line of defense. So if people call in sick and there's no one to work a shift, usually I'm the person doing it. Just like a couple nights ago, I worked 11 hours. So I worked Charlie's show because no one else was here to do it. So, and I am the one thing that gets you to stay in a place for as long as I have. It's a little thing called availability and dependability. So if you have a combination of the two, you're always going to have a little bit of an importance, plot armor, if you will, because especially when there's a rotating door sometimes when it comes to people coming in and out. And we got a pretty good crew again, and hopefully it lasts a while. And we're all having fun. Tara's doing a great job on the air and with her podcast. Vince is always being controversial. I know some of you don't like him, but that's how it's supposed to be. And Charlie James fits right in. My biggest problem with Charlie is that he reminds me so much of Russ that I can't take it sometimes. In looks, in actions, even dresses like him. And there's just certain ways when he holds his head that if I look out of the corner of my eye, it's like seeing Russ, and it's difficult for me. And
I had no idea.
yeah, it's even my wife noticed the other day, was flipping through and he was on something and she's like, oh my God, he looks, it's uncanny. It really is.
I did not ever think about that, but you're right.
Even the way the hats he wears, everything.
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
His style is very similar to Russ's.
And he has the same comedic timing. Actually, I think he might have better comedic timing. He does more voices than Russ did. But there are times that I struggle because of that. And that's not something you can tell somebody, I don't think. It's like, I really want you on my show, but you remind me of someone else, and I'm afraid I might cry. And that's I mean, it's rough. And during times like these, I am the master of segues.
Oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head.
Nobody can take that much and still live.
That's cray-cray.
Is everybody in this town on drugs? This is ridiculous.
All right, let us talk.
I should have some lettuce like in the office for this.
That is some salad.
Lettuce.
Gotta have some salad. So whenever we play the Oops intro, that means it is time to talk about someone who done did something, got themselves arrested. And
then they done got.
They done got, as in this guy got. And let's go to Mexico, shall we? Monterrey, Mexico. Carlos Alonso, not the Alonso, but Alonso. Carlos Alonso allegedly went to the Christ the King parish to rob the church, which you shouldn't do. Okay. Shouldn't rob anything, but you definitely should not rob a church. Alonso,
Extra jail.
Yes.
Super jail.
Alonso jumped over the fence in front of the church entrance, broke a glass door, and stole a statue of Saint Michael the Archangel. Is it an archangel or archangel? It's an archangel.
Archangel.
It's archangel.
Archangels are, they just deal with arches.
Archangel,
They
archangel,
keep eyes
will
on
you be
keystones.
mine? Okay. While trying to flee, he tripped. And what do you think happened? Okay, Matthew, what do you think happened? All right. So, Carlos Alonso is running with the statue of Michael the Archangel. What do you think happened?
Oh, there's a sword in that statue, isn't there?
I was asking him.
Oh,
Yeah, I also am aware of this word, and I'm pretty sure he impaled himself or something.
Yeah. So witness saw so while trying to flee, he tripped and fell on the angel's sword, seriously injuring his neck. So he fell down and Michael the Archangel's sword went through dude's neck. Alonso got
Oh.
impaled by the archangel.
He got smoked.
Yes, he did. He got smoked. He absolutely did. Some would say he got what he deserved. A witness saw the wounded man at the church doors and called for medical help. He's expected to recover and be charged. And all right, so
Hopefully there's a conversion afterwards. 'Cause, I mean, after that,
we have a service that gathers the most tweeted, the things that are trending, and they put it in categories for you. You can go through and look. And my favorite is weird stories, and they don't have them every week, but this is in weird stories. Also, whoever does this particular service, they lean a certain way politically, and you can tell by some of the questions they ask at the end. That's supposed to be a topic starter. I rarely use their topic starters. The story's good enough on its own, like this. I mean, yeah, but after all that, what do you think is the question the person who put the story together asked? Cameron, what question do you think they would ask?
oh Lord,
All right, Matthew.
I think the question is they're asking if this was an act of God or something along
Yeah.
those
Yes.
lines.
No. See, that's a good question. That's a good question. Their question is, have you ever fallen down in public?
that's it.
That's it. That's their question.
Really?
Of
I thought you
all
said it was
that-
like political or something.
No. Sometimes it leans that way. It didn't
Oh, okay.
necessarily
So
mean.
what you're saying is that they're boring.
Well, this is political in a way because politics try to stay away from religion. So if you mention it's an act of God, then you are saying you believe in God. So you cannot ask
True,
that
by the very
question.
implication of
So you
it,
cannot ask that question. So you have to try to bring it to somewhere else. Have you ever fallen down in public? Okay, dude didn't just fall down in public. He tripped and got impaled by a sword from a statue of St. Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, it just there are times that the questions I think are funnier than
because you're trying to steer away from something.
yeah,
really
because
hard.
they're really trying. They're putting the story out there, but they're trying their best.
They should be careful about running with this.
Yes. Have you ever ran with a statue? I mean, that's even a running. Have you ever ran with a pointy object? Have you ever fallen down in public? I think we've all fallen down in public. Matthew may not have fallen down in public.
I'm sure I have.
Let's
some
not
point.
talk
I can't
about
think
Well,
of
I'm
anything
not
off the
going
top of
to.
my
I'm
head,
not
but
going
sure
to.
I have.
You just say that you have fallen down in public.
Oh, no,
which
yeah,
you-
I've definitely
which
tried.
you have.
I literally just remembered when back in I think it was the start of my junior year of college. It might have been my sophomore year. So our university center had a little food court in it, and when you come out the front into the main area of the campus, there's a really long set of stairs and also a smaller set of stairs at the top. I tripped down the last few with my food, and my ankle has never been the same since.
Did you land on your food?
I did not.
Okay.
My food was perfectly fine. I don't
Okay.
know why I
That's good at
mentioned the
least.
fact that I had my food as if that was a setup for anything.
Well,
it
yeah,
wasn't.
because you made us envision, face into oatmeal or something.
I was hoping
No.
for a
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 kind of scenario
Yeah.
where he trips, but he catches
No, I
everything
just
on
tripped.
the tray.
Was in extreme pain in my ankle, and it's never been the same since.
Did you have a Peter Griffin moment where you're like,
No, my
for
friend
5
literally
minutes.
dragged me over to a nearby bench because I could not move that leg.
See, but
really.
there you go. There you go. You had someone to help you.
it's good to
Yeah.
have friends
Yes.
when you get horribly maimed. I wish I had that
Yeah,
back in the day.
Usually when I fall, there's just no one around.
Well, that's definitely not the only
Yeah.
time I've fallen. That's
Yeah.
just the most notable one.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Bad Batch, Vox Machina Season 2, and Netflix. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. Continuing live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. Did I remember them all? You guys weren't even paying attention.
I was paying attention, but I had already turned my mic off.
Same.
Grabbing the small ones.
What are they? Twin size?
Not even full size. I don't know what's below twins. Cot. They're cot size.
Do they make queen size bunk beds?
Do they?
I don't know.
I don't think so because of the support in the middle. I mean, how would you do that?
Trusses.
Probably. You could probably do that.
Trusses lined on the bottom of the.
You know, you
thing,
can
not
look it
jutting
up.
out.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do they make
Queen or king size?
queen
bunk
or king
beds?
size bunk beds? I don't think they do.
Because I've never seen that. It's always
Yeah,
been
just I think
twins.
that would be dangerous. I think you could die if you're in the bottom bunk of a queen size bunk bed.
Death by sandwich.
Especially if the guy above you just happens to be sleeping with the statue of Saint Michael.
The Archangel Michael statue's
Yes.
coming for you. It's like the angel thing of don't run with scissors. Don't run with the statue of
Of Saint Michael. Yeah, don't do
the
that.
Archangel.
It's not going to end well for you.
God's just like, Michael, what? He was defacing your house. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, Trey says Clyde Lewis is spooky. Clyde Lewis is spooky. He absolutely is.
He's so spooky.
Cameron
Also,
hates it
I'm
because
sorry.
he's so happy he didn't ride with me today because he doesn't have to listen to Clyde Lewis on the way home.
Pigs for like a dissection of war pigs. For
Again,
like 30
Clyde
minutes.
Lewis, the best producer in all of producerdom. It's
You
amazing.
You and Chris. I remember when Chris was in here the other day. I think it was for the karaoke special.
It's great
but
minds, man.
The both of you just fangirling over the production value.
Yeah, it's fanboying, but that's fine. But
I
yeah,
don't know. There's a
he does it. No. We don't need to go down that.
I don't want to be. I'm not making it derogatory.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just
yeah,
being
you
funny.
are, and they'll come at you. So don't do that. It's not necessary.
The people are on my side.
Not if you continue.
Okay. I don't want to make it.
I'm trying to help you out. Anyway, so yeah, we fanboy over, in any field, whatever field you're in. Like, say, if you're a plumber, and there's this dude who does amazing pipe work. I mean, but you're like, man, if I could be as good as that guy, well, that's what it is with Clyde Lewis, just with his production value. Although, because it adds to the creepiness of whatever the topic is,
Absolutely.
which is what you're supposed to do with radio. I mean, if you throw in the creepy music while you're talking about something and you're dead serious about it, and you
can give a person goosebumps with your intro, you're
Yeah.
doing a good job.
You could be driving through a cornfield going, why am I listening to this stuff while I'm driving through a cornfield?
Which is the last 5 minutes of the drive.
Yes, which means he's very, very effective at what he does. I'd almost stay up and listen to him during the week, but Oh, did they? Trey says they tried to build one on Step Brothers. It didn't work. Yeah, I did. Will Ferrell's hit or miss for me. And that just looked like something that, although
It's a very popular movie, but I don't think you'd like it.
like I said, hit or miss.
I think it's more raunchy humor than anything else.
Yeah, he's more miss than he is hit for me. Even other guys, which I loved, there's some things they could have got rid of because they didn't need it. Like the grandma. I just did not need to hear the grandma say that stuff.
I got reminded yesterday.
Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo here along with Matthew and Cameron and you. We're having a blast. You can be a part of the show. Text line 71307 or hit us up on Facebook or Twitch or Twitter or YouTube. By the way, I want to tell you, if you are like on one of the personal pages, like my personal page, and you comment, which happened last week and happens every week, for some reason, those don't show up on the one screen that we have that's supposed to put them all on there. Some of the comments don't show up. So if I don't respond to you, it's because I didn't see it. And it's not, I'm not ignoring you. I didn't see it. I'm reading something to see if I could.
If you can say it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I can. All right, so Bad Batch just came out with its latest episode, and it's one of my favorite episodes.
It was really, really good.
Because the main clones weren't in it. the main guys, the leaders, the guy that looks like Rambo, what's his name?
Hunter.
Hunter. Yeah, Hunter. Hey, they're just all clones. You know, I'm sorry I can't remember their names. I remember Tech, but yeah, so he's not in it, and I remember Omega. So and they actually have racing in it, and it's pretty cool, and a smart aleck droid. Yeah, that just
Teo, who's voiced by Ben Schwartz.
yes, and excellent job doing that. So it was a really good episode. At first you thought it was pod racing, which it kind of is like pod racing without the pods.
Well, I'm sure there's all sorts of different racing leagues out in the Outer Rim. Like you got your pod racing. I'm sure swoop bikes are somewhere out there.
I love swoop bikes. You any good at swoop bikes? Did you play swoop bikes in any of the games?
I've never heard of that before.
Hey, Matthew, you want to play some Pazak? That's
I don't know what that is.
All right, so
KOTOR reference.
Okay.
yeah, Pazak is a card game in some of the Star Wars games, just like swoop bike racing, which is basically like drag racing, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are some of the earlier games that, and then there was actually the pod racing game, which I don't know if did you have that on GameCube?
I don't think I did. I know I played it in the arcade on occasion.
I played the arcade version. Yeah.
There's pod racing on Lego, isn't there? Or I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, in the Lego Star Wars games, there was pod racing levels,
which is kind of fun. Well, in this case, these were this race. They encouraged the shooting. You didn't have to worry about sand people. They all were firing at each other as they were going through. And it was a pretty good episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Also, yesterday, Vox Machina Season 2 dropped. And like they did last year, they're dropping 3 at a time. You don't want to watch this with your children.
Nope.
But if you are an adult or however you want to say it, and you're into the animation and you're okay with language, check it out.
Gotta say, watch the show. This is a lot more brutal than I thought it was going to be.
See, here's the thing. So these guys, they've already did this D&D and live sessions recorded where where they're going with this. So Cameron knows the story. I'm going into it and I have no idea what the story is. And I think I like that better. I think I like not knowing the direction because you don't have to compare to, yeah, but they did it this way when they were playing D&D. Why did they cut this part? Why did they make this part longer? Why did they do all this? You don't have to worry about that if you're watching it fresh.
True, but I'll say this. I don't go in it criticizing. I'm going in there interested to see what they change.
Because they would have to change stuff from a D&D campaign into a show.
Yeah.
Like, you can't translate that one-to-one.
Because it's like, you think of how you would do it in your head and you see what they eventually come up with. It's a fun comparison. Especially with guest stars and whatnot as well. But yeah, I just to let you know, from here on out, I have no idea what happens.
All right. So normally we'll just sit down and watch one episode, but yesterday we watched all 3 in a row. The episodes were what, like 25 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, 25, 30.
Yeah. So it's basically like sitting down and watching a small movie if you watch 3 episodes. But it was really good. Don't want to be too spoilery about it, but everything changed. So yeah, everything, all of the comforts of season 1 are gone. I mean, it's just
what little comforts there were.
Yeah, this is gone. Everything's on fire. I'm just gonna go with that. That's as spoilery as I'll get.
It's a D&D campaign. You would expect that.
Well, and the other thing is, like, if you've watched any of Critical Role, Matthew, the DM,
Matthew Mercer, yeah.
Matthew Mercer, not Matthew Causey.
Though I am a DM also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there. Cameron.
I wasn't trying to draw any lines or any comparisons.
I just think you just kind of went, well, you got Matthew, and then you've got
Matthew Mercer doesn't want to be compared to me. We don't want to knock him down a peg like that.
Yeah, exactly. He might come after you with pool noodles. That's a deep internet cut. Anyway, he is so dark during the entire thing. So it's one of those things of seeing the comparison between that and how it actually looks on screen.
I will say that I enjoy the show, but I feel guilty for watching it. because it's so nasty at times. It
It
really
is.
is, and it's
But
for no reason at all. It just because they think it's funny.
well, they are kind of.
And you know what? Sometimes it is.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah,
probably. It's
You-
just
No,
the
absolutely
D&D
no
game
shame
that we play for
from-
the radio is very clean compared to other ones. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it gets.
all right. Let's jump on the stream real quick. We were talking in the during the break about Will Ferrell movies, and Trey says Will Ferrell relies on raunchy humor way too much. That's the thing that I'm talking about. You know, I get raunchy humor and I get innuendo and I get stuff like that. I think it all has its place, but when you're compiling it to the point where it doesn't necessarily fit within the plot, you just like, yeah, that dude's just raunchy. Okay, I guess we just got to deal with the stuff that Scanlon says, which is
That is kind
Which
of
is
him,
kind of
though.
his
which, by the
character,
way,
though.
is fine if it's just him. But then there are other people that don't seem to be that way, and then they'll throw something out, and I don't think it's necessary.
Well, him and Grog are probably the worst as far as that goes.
Yeah, I don't think Pike needs to do it. So, but when she does, I think it takes away from what she is. So that's just me as far as her character goes. I don't think it's necessary. Everybody in every group, although some groups are nothing but raunchy, I'm talking about real life groups of friends. But some
It's a lot of one-upmanship.
Yeah.
but some groups of friends have that one guy that just goes too far, and he thinks it's
Why don't
funny.
you point towards me?
No. It was just
It was a general.
Yes.
General mind emotion.
who
Gotcha.
goes too far, and it's not necessary. Funny occasionally, but usually it just makes everyone cringe. Everyone has, well, a lot of groups have those guys, and that's
And that's when the joke ends.
yes. Let's see. Imogene on the Facebook page says, "I love that show too." We were talking about Ground Zero earlier, but she wants to know: is his first name Clyde, Clive, Craig? And Trey says, "I thought it was Clive for a long time. No, it's Clyde, as in Right Turn Clyde. That's a movie reference. Some of you will get, but Clyde. Yes, Clyde Lewis. That is his name. All right. You guys like to share? I like to share. Sometimes some people think, especially members of my family, that I share too much, especially on the radio. I.e., check out the first 20 minutes of the Rob Brown show yesterday. Anyway,
I wholeheartedly agree.
yes. All right. Unless you're a family member, don't check it out if you're a family member. Well, I don't know if Matthew does this, but I know for sure Cameron does. Do you share your Netflix account?
I don't have a Netflix account, but I have a Verve account.
Okay. I don't know what Verve is.
It's a bunch of anime and animation compilation
Okay.
type stuff.
All right.
So, like Crunchyroll is a part of it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So Netflix is supposedly going to crack down on password sharing. They've said this before, and a lot of people are worried about it. Now, supposedly, if you're in the same household, it's not a big deal. But let's say that people start out in your household and then they move somewhere else, like down the road, and they still use your account. Well, they're supposedly going to crack down on that. And what they're going to do is ask you to pay an extra $2.99 per account, which is not, you're not paying full price for your own account, but you're paying an extra $3 to allow someone to share your account. Do you have a problem with that?
That is actually not nearly as bad as what I thought.
Not as bad as I thought. I'm not a huge fan. I can't wait, from the sound of that, for the internet to develop an entire massive, huge, singular account that they all put together. Because with that system
chain
in
of
place,
accounts.
that is absolutely what is going to happen.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the internet. That is the first thing that came to my mind.
that is devious, and it just might work. I think a lot of people share their accounts for that, for HBO Max, for whatever streaming service, Paramount, Amazon. I mean, if you supposedly have cut the cord, you're still paying the same amount of money because you have all these different streaming services that has like one show that you want to watch.
I have one friend who basically just watches Twitter clips of shows instead of watching the shows themselves. And so I have shared my Verve account with him to try and get him to finally watch these shows that he keeps talking about without having actually really watched.
You're a good friend.
Thank you.
'Cause that's terrible.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some video games. We also got our roundtable coming up in the lightning round. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. Stop it, Steven.
One thing I'll also say about just any D&D adventurer is not right in the head. They're all crazy.
Yes.
They all just cause problems.
Absolutely.
There's something wrong with them that makes them want to go out, get a whole bunch of money by killing terrible monsters, getting into bar brawls, and genuinely just causing mayhem. That's all I shall say.
Mayhem. Oh, yeah, you were going to tell Matthew about that concert that's coming up.
Oh, Bit Brigade.
What's that?
So I know that you're really into different. I know you really are into game soundtracks and everything.
To a degree, yeah.
There is a band that does metal covers of older games like Castlevania, like the original Castlevania, the original Legend of Zelda. They have a speedrunner on stage.
No, I have heard of this before. Yes.
It's coming February 10th, Radio Room.
Where's that?
Somewhere downtown Greenville. You can look it up and find the directions. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I didn't go last time, but he and Rob Brown went, and so,
which is fun and awkward for Rob. But
Yeah, I've heard about that where they play the music that would otherwise be playing, and they're constantly updating based on how he's going. Yes.
Oh, and it changes by level too.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are so good.
No, yeah, I have heard of that before, and it sounds super cool.
I was going to tell my D&D friends too, and I forgot to mention that. I was too busy getting a mug thrown in my face.
Yeah,
In
so
the game,
if you're
real life.
watching on stream, we're talking about Bit Brigade coming to the Radio Room, I believe on February 3rd, I think it is. I plan on going with them, so if you guys want to come and hang out and watch.
Oh, what time is it at?
I
think
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Okay,
Doors open
I
at
would
7.
actually be able to do that.
Well, the other thing what was I thinking of? Oh, they
Wait a
might.
minute, that's not the same night that SmackDown's here, is it?
Ooh,
We'll have to check that out because gotta go SmackDown.
Yeah, that's a choice. They might.
I gotta
not-
go to SmackDown because it's my job.
You get to say that.
Plus, we're supposed to possibly interview wrestlers almost every day that week.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I can't tell you exactly who that we might be getting, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to be a nervous wreck.
Do you have an inkling?
No, I know.
Oh,
I
you
could
do
tell
know.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me. You told me one.
You
day-
told Matthew before you told me?
I know there are multiples.
Okay, we'll talk about it after the show. I haven't gotten to talk to
To
you
be
all that
fair,
much.
he walks by the door like every day.
I'm
so.
I'm not mad.
One I will say is fella.
Ooh.
All right. Speaking of video games, there's a concert coming to the Radio Room in just a couple weeks. Cameron could look up the exact date.
All right, I'm pretty sure that is
because-
on February 10th.
Yes, which will be the week after SmackDown is here. SmackDown is coming to the Well, and definitely going to SmackDown because we go to see wrestling every time it comes. And if you've never been to a wrestling event, you should go because it's pretty cool. And just from a production value, we've taken several people who have never been to wrestling before, including T2, who brought his son. And just our seats are almost always behind where the nerve center is, where the producers sit to organize everything and be able to see all the screens. But we also we're really close to Pyro last time.
By the way, just to reiterate, it is the 10th.
Okay, so there's a band called Bit Brigade. It's going to be at the Radio Room downtown Greenville, And what they do, and Cameron's went to see it, and also Rob Brown from the Rob Brown Show. Very creative how they came up with that name.
Brilliant.
I think
They
there,
needed a think tank for
well,
that,
there
didn't
was.
they?
I think there were like 10 guys. Well, there were a couple of girls in there too. So it was about 10 people who got together and they conferenced, and I think it took about 2 weeks.
The collective brain power that
Yes.
it must have taken.
Yes,
Mhm.
there were actual fights, if I recall. But anyway, so
Was it like choosing a new pope?
yeah, a little bit. So there was smoke involved. So Robin and Cameron went to this, and what the Bit Brigade does, it's a full band on stage, as I understand, while someone is speed running a video game, and they play the soundtrack to the video game live. And from what I understand, and Cameron can elaborate, is they are very good musicians.
They are some of the best musicians I've ever seen. Um, I've seen some really good ones too. They, as far as like instrumentation and everything goes, they are the absolute best I've seen. They very rarely, I didn't notice them mess up. Their tempo was so good throughout the entire night. They didn't slow down it. They slowed down at parts for like to catch a breath, but they played solidly for an hour.
So I
There
know,
was
So like
no
what kinds
pauses.
of games do they play? Do they play mostly
It's all
classic-
retro.
It's all retro? Okay, I
Yeah.
figured, but wasn't
So
sure.
like Castlevania, the original Castlevania, the original Legend of Zelda, Mega Man, the original Mega Man is something that they do too. They have like 8 different games that they bounce between. So I'm curious if they'll even do the same set that they did last time that I saw.
so is this kind of a standing room only thing while you're watching, or are there actual
Yeah,
seats?
there are no seats.
Okay, cool. So anyway, our plan is to go. I don't know how many people from this show are going to go, but I know that Rob Brown said he was going to go. Cameron wants to go. I didn't get to go last time because I didn't know if it was for me. But now people have told me
It is
that
definitely for you.
I would
that-
love to go.
that I
I
would
think it sounds
enjoy.
awesome.
So-
It's 2 of your favorite things, music and video games.
So there you go. So if you get a chance, come and check it out, and we probably will be there watching it. So looking forward to that. So we're talking video games. Avengers, the game. I don't know. I know Cameron's played it and I played it. It's on Game Pass right now, but we had it before then. They are finishing up, and there's not going to be any more new content, and so they're shutting down.
Oh, I thought they gave up on that game a long time ago.
No, actually, they've been adding a ton of things.
Oh, good for them, because everything that I heard about that game when it came out, at least, was absolutely horrible.
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the critics were saying. There was, I will tell you that it was my first introduction to Kamala Khan. I had no idea about her backstory or anything like that.
Yeah, the story was
Yeah.
good.
So I thought that was pretty cool, and I actually had a lot of fun playing with her as a character. And Cameron and I played some together. We both played the storyline separately. Then they added things. The reason why I'm bringing this up is, how many times do you guys get a season pass, or there's a game that has a DLC drop at some point? Do you go back to a game?
It depends on the game. I will go back to certain games, but I don't know. I don't play a ton of games that have like a ton of DLC necessarily.
I'll say it like this. I think I have like a 75% return rate. There'll be like the occasional game where I just go, I enjoyed it, but I'm playing something else. It's mostly just because I'm playing something else and then DLC drops.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
think what they need to do, depending on the game, is they need to drop it in a way to where people are still playing the game, or they're estimating that the people are still playing the game and probably near the end of their run. Like, say if it's like, I guess like a month later or something like that, because not everybody sits down and, if it's a 70-hour game, plays through the 70 hours. Not everyone takes time to puts way too much gaming hours in like we do. Some people are more, I only have time to play like a couple hours a week, so it may take them a month or two to
I
finish a
will
game.
say I came back a lot of the time whenever Animal Crossing had a big update, when New Horizons did. So that's definitely for stuff like that.
There's also the kind of game nowadays where it's like a live service game, like Destiny. Like they'll add
I've never
stuff.
really played much live service games outside of MMOs, if you want to classify those as live service.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, more so. I haven't
Yeah,
played a really
I think
good
we're
MMO
probably more
lately.
talking about like games with like a solid beginning and end,
Yeah.
more than likely.
All right. So another question, and this is more from Matthew. When you mod a game out,
Yeah.
you're playing a game with mods, and you have space left, and then you just go ahead and you start playing. Do you ever go back and add something?
Absolutely. I am adding to my mod list until my game breaks and
All
then I
right.
start a new playthrough.
You're making me feel better about myself because because I know I got all this
There
space
are mods
and I
in-
didn't find anything, and I'm like, okay, I got to go back and check because there's probably something
Oh, yeah.
cool that I can add.
There's always cool stuff, and then there's literally every single day multiple mods being added to the Nexus. So
I'll also say this on the DLC front because you just reminded me of the one game that constantly drops DLCs that I always go back to is Stellaris, because there's always a different way to play whenever they drop something new. Like in the base game, I played as these this robot empire that was just destroying the entire universe, and then they drop basically necromancers, like space necromancers, into there. So I change up the entire formula. The game's completely different this time around, and it just refreshes the game every single time. So stuff like that's really cool, and that usually gets me to come back.
I have had Stellaris on my Steam wish list for like 5 years now, and I've still not bought it.
It's so good. It's are you into like real-time strategy or like 4X kind of games?
Not a ton. I enjoy them sometimes. I used to play Civ 5 with my friends a lot, but we don't really play anymore. And that was that. And then I also got into Age of Empires 2 with a couple college friends during like our junior and senior years, and that was really fun. But I haven't really played since then.
I think it's also on Game Pass if you have that.
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I have no interest.
It's fine.
I don't have Xbox or PlayStation or
Well,
anything. so-
because it has a whole bunch of PC games too.
Yeah, so you can play on your PC, which is kind of cool. All right, so we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna hit the lightning round. Got to squeeze in as many things as we possibly can before the end of the show. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD, continuing live on just about every social media platform you can think of.
With Game Pass, there's not enough stuff from like a Game Pass that I would care about compared to just getting the game itself that I want to play on sale.
I
and paying
gotcha.
$5 or $10 for it.
I mean, because yeah, Steam has sales all the time,
Steam
or
has
you get
sales,
like
and there
GOG.
are, yeah, G2A and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
By the way, Trey, I had just finished up my playthrough of Spider-Man. I got it for the PC. Holy crap, that game is so awesome.
oh yeah,
It looks so good on there too.
I still need to play Spider-Man PS4 because it's on. I'm pretty sure it's on PC now, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
what
what
Yeah.
he's playing.
yeah. The
Miles
remastered.
Morales is that also on PC yet or no?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay, I need to play those.
I'm probably gonna wait until it goes on sale because I heard it's really short.
Gosh, I used to play the Spider-Man 2 video game on GameCube as a kid all the time. I loved that game. It
I
was
never got
so
into
good.
that one.
So Cameron, I heard
Really?
I know it's
I
weird.
heard that you bought a new game.
I did.
What
I'm
game?
gonna have to buy it too, but I'm gonna wait.
Well, keep in mind it's only single player, but
I know. No, I know. I don't want to play with you guys.
What game is it?
The Harry Potter game.
Ah, yeah.
my sister wanted it for her birthday, so it's coming out soon. So I went
I'm
ahead and
It's coming out in like 2
Curious
weeks.
to see what people think about it when it comes out. 'cause
Well, there's already the political controversy. I don't care about that. I want to see if the game is good.
oh yeah,
from what I saw,
It
it
seems to be
does look
very,
really good.
very
Rowling is an
customizable.
absolutely
and
abhorrent, horrible person, but I like to separate the artist from.
I
Stuff
just
is
want to go out in the woods where I'm not supposed to go, the Forbidden Forest, and see if I survive. That's all. And
I'd like to apply to Hogwarts. Avada
and,
Kedavra.
I'm going to go completely against my nature and just shoot for
Abracadabra.
slithering and to be a horrible person. Hopefully I can learn Postle Tongue and some things like that. And
Just try hissing at a snake. I'm sure that'll work.
yeah,
I'm
of
sure it
course.
won't just bite you.
Yeah.
Why did you bite that student? You have any idea what he just said to me? What that punk just said to me?
I wonder if he who shall not be named is in the game.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
because
think
it's
it
way
actually
before
takes-
that,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's before Dumbledore too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think it's like in the 1900s.
I just on a game like this, which looks like it'd be fun, I just want to wait and see if some other people have played it. And
Well,
see
the
what
other
they
thing
think.
is, I bought it for her.
No,
but
I
we have
got
game-
you.
We have game share, so I mean,
I got
get it
you.
too.
I want to see what you think about it. She's going to love every second of it
Yeah.
because she's really into Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
She's a Harry Potter super fan. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
He threw me off so bad. I was like, wait, what? When did I buy a new game?
She's very excited about it. She was telling me about it today. So
Good. I hope she enjoys it.
So she was telling me the advantage of you buying it early, all the stuff you get for it.
There's
and,
a whole bunch of
and I don't know if it's worth it for me or not. So because it sounds like a lot of cosmetic stuff.
it is, but I mean, that's part of the game.
Right. No, I agree.
Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR57 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank.
Oh, I am so sore. I am so sore.
Lightning can only strike twice so many times.
Still taking some getting used to that, but I dig the energy.
I'm gonna bop to spite Lars.
There you go. Screw you, Lars. All right.
Screw you, Lars.
It's time for lightning round where I try to squeeze in as many stories as possibly can in the last 7 or 8 minutes or so of the show. And the first one, Jason Momoa has been interviewed a bunch. First of all, about Aquaman, and he says Aquaman's not going anywhere, that he's going to remain playing Aquaman. And with the stories that are going on, because, I mean, people were a little bit worried that James Gunn's going to get rid of him as Aquaman. But not only that, the big time rumors, and he has really hinted at it, is first of all, he's still going to be Aquaman, but that he's going to be Lobo.
Oh, he would be an amazing.
Yeah,
Lobo.
I want to not like the idea of him being Lobo
He fits.
and still being Aquaman.
Literally just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa.
It's just him
It's
being
just
Lobo.
Lobo, but a little more tame.
Well,
He's
maybe.
like nice Lobo.
Nice
But-
Lobo.
no,
yeah.
no. Keep in mind, this is James Gunn. If James Gunn makes Lobo, it's going to be Lobo.
Oh no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's going to be Lobo.
Lots of fragging.
If you've watched Peacemaker, then you know that it's going to be Lobo.
Oh man, yeah.
But he mentioned in the interview a couple of different guys who played more than one character, and that he thinks it should be okay for him to play more than one character. We know the new Aquaman will be coming out soon. Can't wait for that. And yeah, I know Amber Heard is weird, but I like her as Mira, and I don't care. I think
Amber Heard, no, get her out of there.
I think it actually adds to it that
Fire
she's psycho. Nah, she's an actress. You know, I could if I get upset at everything someone does in a film, then I can't watch a film. But they're acting, so I'm more interested in the character, and I think she makes a good Mira. All right, there is a school in Massachusetts that can't turn off the lights. And Massachusetts high school has been keeping the lights on for the last 18 months because nobody knows how to turn them off.
How does that even happen?
I don't know.
Also, can we go back a second and talk about how you just said Massachusetts?
Whatever. Massachusetts. Is that better? I'm not going to
That is
say it that way.
accurate.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say
Look,
it that
if
way.
people call and complain every time that I say Raleigh instead of Raleigh, then I'm going to call you out.
That's
because
totally
I can't
different.
be the only person
Why is that?
suffering.
Why is that on him though?
Why would you look at Raleigh and call it Rayleigh?
What's
There's
wrong
no
with
there's
you,
no
man?
I in
Because
there.
that's how it's spelled.
No, there's no
It's spelled Rayleigh or Riley or whatever.
there's no I in there. There is.
Or I think it's spelled Rayleigh because
Huh?
it's with an A.
Yeah, but there's no I in there.
Raleigh.
Yeah. I mean, where's your French at least? All right, so let's go to Minnesota Regional High School.
Now you're
You
just
don't-
doing this on purpose.
No, it's Minnechaug. How would you say that, news guy?
I thought you were just making a weird way of saying Michigan. Okay.
No, I just wouldn't say that word. Minnesota region, and plus it's in Massachusetts. It's not in that place up north. Minnesota Regional High School had a software system that ran its lights, which was supposed to save money and energy. But ever since the software failure in August 2021, the lights have been running 24/7, costing the district thousands of dollars each month. Replacing the software will cost more than $1.2 million, and supply chain issues have delayed those efforts by more than a year. Meanwhile, teachers have been reduced to unscrewing light bulbs if they want to show a video in class.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun.
That doesn't.
Especially if they're like on the whole time. So those are hot light bulbs.
Well, they're probably fluorescent too, and those are not easy to unplug.
Get your bulb
Because
mitts.
you got to be really careful if you've ever heard
Yeah.
smelt a bad ballast or have seen a fluorescent light bulb slowly float through the air as it's about to shatter into 10,000 pieces. It's not good.
Ugh.
Does Ave Maria play as it happens, or
I don't know.
I feel like that's a good tune for
Well,
that?
if you say so. I was more thinking shattered from
Well, Ave Maria
Rolling
is it's
Stones.
like the meme song to put over anything that feels like it's slowing down, kind of thing.
that sounds like so millennial to me. So I just don't get it.
Meme culture.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Meme culture. I don't meme. I don't GIF. I don't GIF. I just don't do that because I dare to be different. That's all. I mean, you do you if you want to, but I'm not doing it because it bothers people that I don't do it. And that's how I live my life. All right. World's largest pizza yields 68,000 slices. To celebrate the return of its big New Yorker pizza, and I said Yorker on purpose, Pizza Hut has made what it touts as the world's largest pizza, the pie, which was baked in sections and put together Wednesday at the Los Angeles Convention Center, measures 14,100 square feet, Pizza Hut officials say. That's 600 square feet bigger than the former record holder, a 13,500 square foot pizza made in Italy in 2012.
Yeah,
The-
take that, Italy.
Yeah, fine. The new record holder was cut.
You can't
into-
out Pizza the Hut.
You can't. I don't. 68,000 slices, the restaurant reports. Following the endeavor, the massive pizza was distributed to a number of area charities, officials say.
Good. I was
So,
hoping they would do that for that.
but I don't think it counts
Why doesn't it?
because it's a bunch of separate pizzas that they put together to make one big pizza. It's not. It's
No.
not.
How are you
It's-
going to find an oven big enough?
It's it. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. All I can say is that's not one pizza. That's a bunch of pizzas put together, and they're calling it one pizza.
It's called an assembly, Dad.
Yeah, but you can't assemble separate pizzas and make it
Yes, you
into one pizza.
can.
No, you can't. You cannot.
If the cheese forms together, does that not make it one pizza?
It is not. No, that's no. It's just a covering. The crust has to be one crust. It's not. If
You
it's
have
not
any idea
one.
how long it would take.
If
to-
it's not one crust, it's not one pizza. That's all I'm saying. All right. A man has survived 24 days at sea by eating what, Matthew?
I don't know, his pants or something. I don't know.
Well, pants are high in fiber, but I don't think Cameron. What did he eat for 24 days?
seagulls.
That would be a good source of meat. Probably be kind of stringy. No, he ate ketchup.
Why does
So
he have that much?
So he mixed
What?
he mixed ketchup with water. So he was on a sailboat and it got swept out to sea, and he had no cell service, so he had no idea where he was. So
Why did he have ketchup?
because you have got condiments on your boat if you've got like a kitchen or galley or something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, is it like a smaller sailboat, or
It's a smaller sailboat. Yes.
is
So
it a dinghy?
it's not a dinghy. I don't think a dinghy can be a sailboat. I suppose it could be.
We're not boatmen.
We're not. You know what we are? We're out of time. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Upstate Pulse. See ya.
Also, Trey, that's a fantastic joke. Also, Trey, that's a fantastic joke. It's on the producer for not doing that fast enough.
Thank you, Chris. Say goodbye, Matthew.
Goodbye, Matthew.
Massachusetts. Say goodbye, Cameron.
Goodbye, Massachusetts.
Goodbye. I'm going to Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Going to daggum Massachusetts.
Going
While
to
I'm there,
Massachusetts.
I'm gonna go
I remember back in
put
the
some
colonial
shrimps on the
days.
bobby or something. I don't know.
That's
And
where are you? What are you doing?
it's a combination of a bunch of stuff.
Am I supposed to hit the end broadcast right now?
No, I'll do that.
Oh, you got that button?
Hey, I would like to say howdy ho and goodbye.
What about roller derbies? Do you like that?